Ever seen a happy person, an infectiously happy person? Their joy radiates and ignites something in you, inspires the joy that is within you, and reminds you that you are a happy person too. That moment of recognition is instant and so effortless. I've talked about this before in one of my other videos, but I once came across a man on the street singing very off key, and while that was pretty impressive in itself, it wasn't the thing that struck me most about him. What left an impression on me for days afterwards was how unabashedly joyful he was. It was glorious, magical. There was no sheepishness, no shame, no self-consciousness, just pure joy. Like I said, his singing was terrible, like really, really bad. And that only accentuated how happy he was. Not in the sense that he was smiling or anything like that, but he was really into it. He was totally grooving with it. Not casually, but wholeheartedly. He literally didn't care how he looked. He wasn't trying to prove anything. He wasn't asking for money. It wasn't a performance. He was just some underdressed dude who really dug whatever he was singing along to on his mobile phone. I didn't recognize the song. It sounded dated, folksy, not exactly pop music, and definitely sounded before my time. He was an older guy, graying, and he had major dude vibes, as in the dude vibes. Great Lebowski tier. Great Lebowski. One of the weirdest, most pointless, slightly confusing, and yet somehow hilariously entertaining movies ever. Anyway, this man, I remember thinking that to be that happy is a blessing. That man is blessed. Bless him, for he is blessed. That's what I thought. It reminded me of that one kid in every school performance that can't carry a tune but sings really, really loud and very, very earnestly. That's the word I was reaching for. Earnest. I mean, sure, seeing someone like Bruno Mars singing and dancing, someone who really knows his moves and hits all of the notes perfectly, is an elevating experience for sure, but pure joy without any obvious apparent rhyme or reason is equally precious, is it not? There's an argument to be made that unjustified happiness, if you like, is happiness in its purest, most unadulterated form. It is highly infectious, I find. So if happy people entertain or otherwise inspire you too, here's a quick list of just 3 things that I have noticed about happy people. 1, they sing or hum or dance to their own beat. They're not against conforming so much as they are into being their own weird selves. They're a little bit wild and a little bit crazy like that, but they're also a little bit boring, paradoxically enough, which leads me to 2. They are chill. So chill. It's not that they can't be provoked, but they don't stay sore over things. They don't rage and they don't hold grudges. Any provocation is moved on from quickly. They aren't cynical or snarky or mean. And my favorite, they do not see themselves as failing or losing, even if other people do. Nor do they pay any attention to the failures and shortcomings of others. They're not particularly interested in tradition either. They focus on themselves and their own happiness. They create their own tradition, their own culture, their own practices. They aren't afraid to be selfish, not because they don't respect others or because they get a kick out of hurting others, but because they just aren't afraid to selfishly tend to their own happiness. And if that makes them a villain in the eyes of certain people, so be it. They're straightforward and unapologetic about their happiness, if that makes sense. 3, they are at home, even when they are not at home, as in not in their physical place of residence. They don't put on airs. They aren't performing so much as they are just being themselves. They are unafraid to have a good time. These are just a couple of things I've noticed. And yes, I know these points are kind of overlapping and related to each other and not all that distinct. Whatever. Maybe you've got your own list of things you've noticed about happy people or about the way you behave when you are happy, which is awesome. I just love noticing happy people as well as people noticing happy people. That day when I witnessed that dude whose singing, bless him, was so atrocious, there was another guy, young guy, sitting beside me on the bench who also noticed the singing eventually. He initially had his headphones on, but eventually noticed and even removed one earphone to confirm that he really was hearing what he thought he was hearing. The look on his face was priceless. I would describe it in a word as bewildered. Everyone else was just pretending not to notice, studiously avoiding giving the dude any attention, but not this guy, this young guy. He looked around with an expression that I took to mean, is anyone hearing what I'm hearing? Our eyes met and we actually exchanged a smile over this dude. Not a word was exchanged between us. Just two strangers silently in agreement that this was a genuinely amusing moment.